Hello, welcome to Walk in the Park. My name is Tony Ingram, and today is the 25th of September when this is recorded, and this is our 57th episode. And if you want to see all our episodes, all my episodes, I really do this by myself, except the studio does produce it, go to walkinpark.com on my vid blog, and you can see them all, and you can search them all and find what's on them. So today we are going to, take a trip around Ithaca. We're going to take a trip around the scenic views of Ithaca. Now, you may know about the Cayuga Lake Scenic Byway. Probably seen the signs around if you've driven around the lake at all. And it goes all the way around Cayuga Lake. It's a state-designated route using routes 89 and 90 and 34, going around Cayuga Lake from Ithaca all the way up to the northern end of the lake and back. So, so that's a nice scenic byway. Lots of sights along the way, but you can take a car or you can ride a bike, and that's very cool. And down around Ithaca, you can see the southern end there. It loops right around through Ithaca, and we have now our own little scenic byway. Now, if you look down there, where it says Stewart Park down there, but just a little bit above that, not shown in that map, is another little park that we visited the last couple of weeks called East Shore Park, and that's a Town of Ithaca park. Very tiny. It's right on the shore of the lake, next to the Cornell Sailing Center, and right across the street from Lake Source Cooling. So you turn down there. Beautiful little shelter there. And at that shelter is a sign we put up. I'm actually on the Scenic Resources Committee of the Town of Ithaca Conservation Board, and this has been our biggest project lately, which has produced this view sign of Cayuga Lake. So one of the great views in Ithaca is behind this sign right along East Shore Park, looking north along the lake. Well, this is just one of the stops. In fact, actually the last stop in what we're calling the scenic view route around the town. And we've got a Town of Ithaca Scenic Views map and guide that we are producing. Show that right here. This is a little brochure which you can get at the town hall downtown, and you can also get at the Convention and Visitors Bureau, which is just maybe less than half a mile down Route 34 at the corner of the lake. So you can also get it online. Go to that website up there, town.ithaca.ny.us/scenic, and it should show up there. Right now we're still working on drafts of the brochure, and the final brochure will be posted in that location. But what I would do is I would advise you to go to the town website and just search for Scenic Views map and brochure, and the current version of the map will be there. So we have our own little scenic byway route around Ithaca, the town of Ithaca. Now you can see the city in the middle there, in the I don't know whether that's a light blue or a less light green, and around it is the town. And the town sort of surrounds Ithaca like a donut or a horseshoe, and there you can maybe able to notice the blue highlighted route going around the town of Ithaca. Now this is just a wonderful way to just see the town and get a sense of the township. And you follow it, and if you look over to the lower left corner of the lake, you might be able to make out the number 1 down there. So that's our first attraction along the lake. Now just to the right of the 1 is that area right along the lake there. That's the Allen Treeman State Marine Park. So I'm going to put in a few little things that aren't mentioned in the brochure, but are along the route, and you may see. So, but the 1 is actually designating this waterfall, actually a series of waterfalls that are along the scenic route. This is in Williams Glen. This is the first one you see right at the city line, about where that 1 is. And then when you see those red bars along the blue route, those indicate a variety of scenic attractions along the way. In this case, up to maybe 7 little glens with their waterfalls in it. Now, these are not places we're recommending you to stop necessarily, but if you're on your bicycle or car, you'll be able to notice them. And notice also that it's a conservation zone, And this is the Lake Cliffs Conservation Zone, Lake Cliffs Indian Creek Conservation Zone. And this is a zoning designation to help protect the environment of that area so that we don't have too much density of development in an environmentally important or sensitive or beautiful area, and also some guidelines on forestry and things like that, so in development. So there's some other conservation zones in the town, and some other time maybe we'll talk about them. But anyway, we follow up the road, actually have to leave the town to follow the route, go into the town of Ulysses, take a left. See, we're going up Teganic Boulevard, take a left on Glenwood Heights Road, go up the hill there. Now, not indicated on there is, but just about halfway up that road is a trail. This is the Black Diamond Trail. Now, the Black Diamond Trail is under development. It's a development of the New York State Parks. And you notice that red line on this map. This is the route it follows, at least at this first stage of it. I'm going to read from their website. Black Diamond Trail is a multi-use trail network connecting Teganic State Park, Allen H. Treman State Marine Park by Cass Park, Buttermilk Falls State Park, and Robert Treman State Park. When built, it will provide over 15 miles of safe pathways for non-motorized users, that is, bicyclists and pedestrians, and I suppose cross-country skiers too. New York State Parks Finger Lakes region is primarily responsible for the Black Diamond Trail, although it is also a joint project of the state parks, City of Ithaca, and the town of Ithaca, and also involves the town of Ulysses, Village of Trumansburg. The state parks proposed this project back in the 1970s. Anyway, it's still under development, and people are using it, and there is a friends group that's developing that. But let's go back to our scenic route, our basically our town of Ithaca scenic byway, I guess you could call it, though that's not what we really name it. Continue up Glenwood Heights Road, that would be going left in this picture, then turn left going on Du Bois Road and all the way back to Trumansburg Road, so to Route 96, and you get some views over Cayuga Lake, over the Cayuga Lake Valley, over to East Hill. This is by the old Odd Fellows and Rebecca's home, these interesting Gothic revival structures, and you can see all the way over to Cornell on the right, in the background there, and it's also now the home of the Finger Lakes School of Massage. And right to the left out of this picture is the Museum of the Earth, which is quite an attraction in its own right, but not necessarily scenic in the way that the road trip indicates. So let's get back on our route. So we were going, that's number 2, was that view, continuing down Trumansburg Road, turning right on Bundy Road, turn right again on Hopkins Road, turn left on Hates Road, and you're going all the way up, all the way in the left-hand corner, left-hand side of the picture onto Sheffield Road, and there's a lot of views, a number of views, I should say, along Sheffield Road as you go south along there, which would be down on this map, including these views, just looking out across the expanse of the hills on either side of the uplands, on either side of Cayuga Lake. So Cayuga Lake is down in that valley behind that tree line, and pretty cool. And some more. You can see all the way over to Mount Pleasant there, east of Ithaca and Cornell. And this is what they call the Gen X Cooperative. It's a cattle breeding place, and so that's sort of a landmark to identify where these views are. So, okay, then we turn east, which would be right off of Sheffield Road, heading towards number 3 on Mecklenburg Road, or Route 79, heading back towards Ithaca. And there's a number of views going down into Ithaca as you drop down to different levels towards the valley, and you get these sweeping views into the valley and across the city of the lake and so forth. And this is one of them, stopping at Rachel Carson Way, which is the entrance to Echo Village. And this is across the street from it. There's a bus stop there, and there's a nice views. And one of the views, there's several others that actually, when you're moving along, are better than this one. But let's give you an idea of what is visible if you kind of visually, mentally take the telephone pole out. There's Cornell on the right, Mount Pleasant in the back, and so forth. So some wonderful views along the Mecklenburg Road, Route 79. So now we're going to jump back onto our map here, head farther east. You see the Route 79 sign there, and then we're going to turn right on a little street called West Haven Road. And we go along West Haven Road, and you notice there's a little jog to the left there, which would be right in the direction that we're going, called Helen's Way, number 4. Now, let's go right there. Here's that little tiny street along West Haven, Helen's Way. Goes straight up the hill, and it stops. It's a dead end. Here is a sign right next to the beginning of it: no vehicles beyond this point, emergency access only. Well, it's my understanding, I have been told, that that really applies to what's at the end of the street, which is this barrier into the dirt road that continues in the dirt access that continues into Eco-Village lands, Eco-Village of Ithaca, and they actually have some paths there that appear to be open to the public, but we will not explore those then. Now, so if you went back to this barrier here where the barrier is, if you turned left and you look to your left, you would see a small parking lot, and then this path, this mowed path. The town of Ithaca mows it because this is the West Haven Preserve, one of the town of Ithaca's parks. Look on that, it's on the map there. West Haven Preserve. So it's one of town of Ithaca's parks. There's a number of town parks. This one isn't really labeled up there. You don't really know necessarily you're at West Haven Preserve unless you have a map that indicates that. It's a lovely little path. You can walk along there. There's a couple of benches you can sit down and watch birds, and or just contemplate or read a book or whatever you want to do. Take a rest. And you do come to a couple of spots like this one where another path turns to the left. We would be going to the right here. Goes down into more of the preserve. I haven't walked down there yet, but I'm looking forward to. And you can see this view across the valley to South Hill. And then at the end of the path, actually come to Elm Street Extension, and there's some views of the almost mountainous country to the south. So, so that's pretty cool. We'll continue on our route now, go back to our map, looking at, again, at West Haven Preserve on Helen's Way at the upper part of the picture there. We go down West Haven Road, back to West Haven Road, go down it, turn right on Elm Street Extension, and then you turn right again on Pool Road, and go on back up the Sheffield Road, and turn left on that, continue down there, and there it says number 5 and number 6. So basically you go down Bostwick Road. Bostwick Road, I have to say, is one of the most scenic roads in the whole town, and I highly recommend you go over there and check out Bostwick Road. Now, it's agricultural up there, and you get some sweeping views of the valley to the south, and you get a few views of cattle and things like that. There's not very many farms left in the town of Ithaca, but this is one of them. And there's a spot here you can stop and look to the south, looking down the Inlet Valley, Cayuga Inlet Valley, down towards West Danby, and the hills down there. And those are the hills in West Danby and Newfield, almost mountainous down there, very scenic. I went down there the other day. The corn is still standing, so you can't get quite as good a picture as you did here after the corn was cut in the middle of, picture was taken in the middle of October, obviously. And some views across the valley. I believe that is Lick Brook, that gorge in the middle of the scene there. And that is a Finger Lakes Land Trust Preserve. There's also some Cornell Plantation Preserve lands there. And some just amazing landscape and skyscape, a great place to see the sky and what's going on with it. Turning a little to the left, looking more to the east, or the east-northeast, I guess I could say. That is Buttermilk Falls State Park in the middle of the picture there. That's Buttermilk Gorge or Buttermilk Glen in the middle, and to the right of it is where Sandbank Road goes up, and we'll actually go up that road in a moment. And then a couple of other views in the same area. Again, agricultural stuff in the foreground, cattle, and again looking over to Buttermilk Falls State Park, but also Ithaca College in the upper left there. So you get some great views along Bostwick Road. It's just one of Ithaca's finest scenic places. Sun is going down again. Here's another cattle, and there is Buttermilk Falls State Park again. And we'll go farther down Bostwick Road, almost down to the bottom. Again, looking at the gorge of Buttermilk Glen is very dramatic here. You can see what a cut into the hillside the gorge makes. So go down to the bottom of the hill, Bostwick Road there, you see 6. Go all the way down, you see it turns right on 5 Mile Drive, heads over to Elmira Road, turns left there, goes a short distance, turns right again at the bottom of the picture, up Sandbank Road. Of course, you could always stop by And oh, wait a minute, I got ahead of myself here. There's a little park here at the bottom of. Okay, we'll go back to Bostwick Road. Okay, see where it intersects with 5 Mile Drive, and just before that is another little town park. This one, Toodaloo Park, and this is much more developed. It's at Toodaloo Park. It is actually acknowledging an Indian town called Cornell. Here Cornell, where we keep the pipe of peace, Cayuga Indian Village, Iroquois Six Nations, destroyed by Sullivan's army in September 24, 25, 1779. So that's a whole story. The Toodaloo were people that, well, we'll get into that in a second here. There's a wonderful baseball field there called Valentino Field, named after Kathy Valentino, who was a longtime town of Ithaca supervisor. Really great playground, really good picnic shelter, and then there's some displays, some exhibits, interpretive exhibits, explaining what this Toodaloo story is. And the Toodaloo, it was a group of Indians that came up from Virginia in the 1750s, fleeing British settlers and the British Army down in Virginia, and they came up and were taken in by the Cayuga people, became a Cayuga town, and were there until 1779, when the American Army of Sullivan's campaign destroyed it. So there's a lot of information about them there, and then also on the other side, more in general about the Cayuga Nation and cultural factors. And they have a nice little path that goes off in the woods and up to a little knoll, and it's very lovely. It's a little bit swampy around the path. There are some pools and so forth. So out there the other day, and the mosquitoes found me quite quickly. So bring your bug juice and cover up exposed skin. But worth the walk. So okay, now we're going to continue, go back to our route, and go over to Buttermilk Falls State Park. Go up. Well, we might stop by and take a look at the waterfall, see if there is much water on it. Oh, very good. There is some water. It's been pretty wet lately, although it's been dry the past few days, so probably doesn't look as good as this. But we all know that is a statewide attraction. But we're going to go up Sandbank Road, and that's a steep road. Not much, actually, no shoulder. There's a switchback in it that's kind of dangerous. So take your time going up Sandbank Road. Watch for that switchback. But when you come out on top on Sandbank, you'll get these amazing views out over Inlet Valley, looking over to West Hill from South Hill. So I get a few views looking different ways. It's just panoramic along there. Down into the valley, you can see a farm down there. Now this are pictures I took a few years ago in October. That was, the mist was rising out of the valley. It's really lovely. You often see mist rising out of Inlet Valley. Some more. And then Sandbank Road goes through some woods. It goes up the hill, heads east, and you can get some views back across the valley again. Here it is in October, same view. And then looking a little to the northwest, there's that same farm we went down through where we took the pictures over the cornfields looking south and then east. So now we're looking back at that same farm that we took the views on Bostwick Road from. So good scenery on either side. Where are we here? Okay, another view there. Looking out over the fields. There's some very extensive fields there, hay fields. A lot of goldenrod and stuff, and very beautiful this time of year. Again, here's that mist rising out of Inlet Valley a little earlier in the day. Really amazing, amazing stuff here. And then heading, actually the road, you turn onto West King Road. Let me get back and find that here. Where are we going? Find that map. Here we go. Now, well, that number 7 refers to all the stuff we've been looking at. And you can see that Sandbank Road turns around right at the town line and then turns north on West King Road is our route, turns north, that is. And we'll continue along there. More views like the one I was just showing you. What have I been going wrong with here? Trying to find my picture. Yeah, there we go. So some nice hay fields looking again back over Inlet Valley, and there's some great views to the north too. So you can actually get a little glimpse of Cayuga Lake, although I don't have a picture of that. So then we go down through Buttermilk Falls State Park, cut round down through it. You can see West King Road turns right through the park, right in the middle of the picture, and goes over to Route 96B. But you might want to stop in the park and take a little walk down into Buttermilk Glen and the beautiful gorge, upper gorge, all kinds of pools and waterfalls in there. So that's a treat. But we're going to continue on our driving or biking route here and head north along Danby Road, Route 96B, like we're going to downtown Ithaca, or like we're going to Ithaca College, really. But we're actually not going to go all the way downtown. And you can see that red area and the number 8. That refers to the views along there, particularly this one that is a designated DOT scenic spot, Department of Transportation. And you can pull off and go over there. This is right next to Longview Senior Living Community, and get a view north of Cayuga Lake. This is one of the best views of the lake on our route. This is looking at the entire, well, this is looking from the end of that parking lot out of the lake through the long view, as it were. Zooming in a little, there's the lake. You can see all the way up to, on the left-hand side, you see a little bit of white stuff there. That looks like the Ithaca Yacht Club, and then beyond, in the center of the picture, just above it, is Myers Point, I think. So there we go, and a little closer you can see, maybe pick that out. Myers Point, the center of the picture, just above it, and the Yacht Club on the left. Looks that way anyway. So so there we have. We're going to actually turn around now. We're going to go back on back to King Road and continue. So we turn around and go back. If you're on a bicycle, you could probably cut through Ithaca College over to Coddington Road and do that sort of thing. And we actually, in our brochure, indicate some alternatives to for bicycles, so you don't have to do quite as much hill climbing. But go back to King Road. This time we take East King Road, and we're going to go across down. We go over across Coddington Road and down in Burns Road. And if you know Burns Road, you know that's goes down into the 6 Mile Creek Valley, which is not really shown here. But in the 6 Mile Creek Valley is another town park. This is the South Hill Recreation Way. Okay. Town of Ithaca South Hill Recreation Way. And this is an old railroad route. A lot of these routes, the Black Diamond Trail was an old railroad bed. This is an old railroad bed. And they make great bike, hike, ski routes. And so there's little places you can stop in these town parks and trails and so forth. But we're going to continue up Burns Road up to the upper right, well, actually lower right there. Turn left on Slaterville Road and turn right on Pine Tree Road. And it says East Ithaca Nature Preserve, and there is a trail in there too. And you can walk in East Ithaca Nature Preserve. It's right near the East Hill Plaza and so forth. And then you go back out and see number 9. That's a big view over the valley again, looking from East Hill, which we're on, over to South Hill with Ithaca College on it, and West Hill on the other side of Inlet Valley. And you can see the towers of Ithaca College there, and the new Athletics Center, which I'm sure is a wonderful facility, but some people are not as so happy about the scenic impact it has had. But there it is. This is what it looked like a few years ago before they built the Athletics Center. Here it is today. Here's what it was before. You be the judge. Anyway, back on our route, we're going to now go to Alice Hollow Road off of Pine Tree Road, number 9 there. Turn right. There's some great views along there. Turn left on Game Farm Road. Go up to Dryden Road, Route 366. Turn left there. There's views all along these routes. So that's why we do this circuitous route here. And also we need to get from one spot to another. That's with the priority being the views. Caldwell Road. Go past Cornell Plantations and Fall Creek, the upper Fall Creek there, and continue up to well, we know Warren Road. Let's see, we would have turned right on Warren Road, the top right of the picture there, and then from Warren Road we go up to Hanshaw Road, turn right there. Some views at the corner of Hanshaw and Sapsucker Woods Road. Go up Sapsucker Woods Road, go through the Cornell Laboratory of Ornithology, and its paths and viewing areas there, and its welcome center and amazing place there to visit. So, and then finally go out to Route 13. We've left the town of Ithaca in order to get back onto Route 13. Now, we have an alternate suggestion in the brochure for bicycles, not to get on Route 13, because you can't, once you get past Warren Road, you can't take bicycles on Route 13 all the way down into the town of Ithaca. So we're going to go down the town, down the hill, and you can see just as we re-enter the town, just below the number 13 there is some scenic view indicated along there. And of course, many of us have driven that, and you get these sweeping views of Ithaca and even the south end of Cayuga Lake. Unfortunately, this picture, I don't show you Cayuga Lake because I would have to pull my car over in an area that you're not supposed to take a picture. So this one is actually taken from the Cayuga Heights Road Bridge over Route 13. So again, some of the signature views of Ithaca as you re-enter the town of Ithaca. So now we're going to head down to our last and our original spot where we started. Go down, all the way down into the, near the city, and it says Village of Cayuga Heights, and we'll get down there. We turn right. I actually get off the exit there in Route 13 for Route 34, the Route 34 exit, and East Shore Drive. Go up a short distance, a quarter mile or so, to number 10, just north of the Cornell Sailing Center, across the street from Lakeshore Cooling, and back to our, well, it was a kind of our starting place, East Shore Park. And of course, East Shore Park has one of the best views in the entire route, our Ithaca Scenic Byway, essentially looking all around. This is looking south towards Stewart Park and so forth. They have this wonderful stone riprap here you can sit on. Actually, somebody just left of center there, sitting back in there reading a book or fishing or that sort of thing, and just sunbathing. And looking across the lake, there's the Cornell Sailing Center. People out there teaching sailing, learning sailing, and then looking north towards well, down the lake to the north, you can only see about 7 miles or 8 miles of the whole 38-mile long Cayuga Lake there. So that's why we have that map we showed you earlier of the whole lake, and it indicates on that map how much of the lake you can actually see. So there we go. That's the scenic route around Ithaca, and the town of Ithaca's scenic views guide and route. And I recommend you you go online and see if I can find that again for us here. Well, maybe not. Let's get back to that website up at the beginning. Here, where do we go? Oh, here we go. All right, so this was the route all around the town, and then you can go online and get the brochure as a PDF. You can print it yourself, or you can go to the town hall down in Buffalo, the corner next to the post office, next to Buffalo and Cayuga Street, and pick it up there, or to the Tompkins County Visitor Center, which is just south at the city line of East Shore Park. So that's it, all for today. We're going to wrap it up here. Just give you a final image here. Let's see. This was Walk in the Park episode 57. Oh, that one's wrong. 57. That's an old one. And thank you for joining me today. We'll see you again soon.